with teammates and coaches, camaraderie, memories, a sense of resilience, a sense of preparation for what it means to work in a team and a group, the ability to mentor and lead others, the ability to solve problems and think about complex situations. These are all the things that we try to impart to students at Drew in general, and so much of that also happens in athletics. So for those of you that haven't been following Drew Athletics, I want to say under Krista's leadership, things are going really well. We have 25 varsity teams. About a third of the entering first-year students this year are athletes, and about a third of Drew's students overall are athletes as well. So it's a big draw for students to come here. It's a big reason why they stay, and it's a big reason why people continue to come back. I want to thank alumni and friends for their philanthropic support of Drew Athletics. The Blue and Green Fund really does help with lots of things, purchasing equipment, making improvements in our athletic facilities, team travel that allows our students often to play when there's still snow on the ground and they can go to warmer climates. And most recently, donor support has provided the athletics department with the ability to provide mental health resources centered around athletic performance, nutrition workshops, and also to expand the athlete-only weight room, which really is quite a wonderful space. So we're really thrilled to have everyone here this weekend. As many of you know, tomorrow is also our newly revamped reunion, so it's Rangers Reunite. So interspersed with all of the various alumni athletic games and matches, you'll see alums from all classes coming back. We also have an admissions open house tomorrow, so if you're around campus and you see people wandering around, feel free to introduce yourselves. Tell them about your experience at Drew, what a special place it is. And I, again, just want to acknowledge tonight's honorees. It's really wonderful to be here to celebrate these amazing athletes who were not just successful here at Drew, but they've gone on to have really inspiring life stories after graduation. So I look forward to hearing more about each of you and to hearing from each of you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Hillary. At this time, I'd like to introduce Drew Athletics Hall of Fame member and chair of the Hall of Fame committee, Kevin Ralph.
Thank you, Krista. I'll remember to put the microphone down next time. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome back to campus, and it's always special to be back at Drew, but especially during the fall. This time of year, one of the most beautiful campuses in America, I would say. So welcome back to campus, and thanks for being here to celebrate this really special group of inductees and an awesome team of distinction who got to see them celebrating a little bit beforehand. So let's give them all a round of applause. So thanks again for being here on behalf of the Hall of Fame committee. The committee is a group that is actually a part of the Alumni Association who comes together each year, and we meet annually in the spring to talk about each year's class of inductees. And these folks volunteer their time and are former student athletes in many cases themselves. So I want to thank the committee members for their work, and I'm not sure if we have anyone in the audience here tonight, but if we do, please stand up. I don't want to insult anyone other than those of us who are on the stage already. And oh, all right. Sorry, guys. And we actually have a great turnout of current Hall of Fame members. So if I missed anyone, please raise your hand. But I'm just going to acknowledge everyone who's here, starting with Erica Mahalik, Mark Grillo, Bonnie Beneducci, Lorraine Maloney, Vince Masco, Coach Masco, my coach. Justin Benura, Dan Lytle, Chris Kersey, Kevin DeVario, Joe Kaiser, Sally Gormley Dreyer, Michael Bodden, Dan Moylan, and Billy Hosking. Billy, you're here, right? Thank you all for being here. This is really, again, it's special to be back here together. I know you'll hear this theme, and we all of us who lived through the experience as student athletes know that our teammates, our fellow student athletes, are among some of the closest bonds that we make during our time together, and that continues on for years and years, and for most of our lifetimes in many cases. And I think it's apropos we're starting this evening's program by inducting our first inductee, Peter Arthur from the class of 1995. Pete is being inducted posthumously after passing away suddenly in 2006 at the age of 32. Pete established himself as a left-handed pitcher who also doubled as a switch-hitting first baseman, but it was on the mound where he made his greatest impact, capped by a tremendous senior campaign. That season, a hard-throwing southpaw finished with 7 wins and piled up 74 strikeouts over 86 innings pitched. Also that season, he fired the first no-hitter at Drew in 27 years when he struck out 11 batters in a 5-0 win over Uppsala. The consummate team player, Pete recognized the contributions of his teammates in historical achievement, as he was quoted in the Drew Acorn as saying, "We played a great game defensively. Josh Rundle and Pete York both made nice plays in the last inning when the no-hitter was on the line." In another memorable moment, Pete defeated future Major League pitcher Kevin Grabowski from Wilkes in a head-to-head matchup with a 4-hit shutout. His efforts during his senior year landed him on a spot of the All-MAC Freedom Team, first team All-Conference. For his career, Pete continues to rank among the all-time leaders at Drew in numerous categories. He's tied for first in shutouts, tied for first in wins, and tied for 5th in strikeouts. After graduation, Pete briefly played independent league baseball for 2 different teams and even pitched for the British national team. He also served as a high school social studies teacher and baseball coach and was noted as an outstanding leader who deeply impacted all those students he encountered. Coach Masco had this to say about Pete. He was a great kid and a tremendous competitor. Not only was he really talented, but he worked hard and was a good student. He was a fine example of who we want our student athletes to be. Ladies and gentlemen, here to formally accept Pete's Hall of Fame award is his teammate, Neil Manning. Neil.
Bring this down. Thank you, Kev, and thank you to President Link, the selection committee, and everybody who made this event happen. And thank you especially to Pete's family, Mr. Arthur, Victoria, who are here tonight, who asked me to speak on Pete's behalf. It really means a lot. My name is Neil Manning, and I was teammates with Pete for 4 years and roommates for 2. If Pete were here, it's hard to know exactly what he would have said. But to give you an idea of how it might have gone, his best man speech at my wedding included an assistant, props, multiple songs, and it took about 25 minutes. So I can't guarantee that my speech here will be as entertaining as his speech would have been, but I can guarantee that it will be shorter. Pete Arthur was built to be a pitcher. He was 6'5", left-handed, and had a live arm. His arm was so special that he used to give it its own pillow when he slept. He was very talented, but it wasn't just natural talent with Pete. he also had to put in some serious work to find his success. First, he really needed to hit the weight room. He was so skinny when he came to Drew, his shadow weighed more than he did. But he became the hardest working guy in the gym, and he dragged me and Ron Moss and a bunch of others with him, so he ended up making himself better and the rest of us as well. Even the rugby guys couldn't believe how often Pete was in there lifting weights. The other thing Pete had to work on was his control. He could always throw hard, but he didn't always know where it was going, and that was both on and off the field. There was the time on our annual Florida trip that Pete picked up a shoe to throw it at Rob Denkin, who was talking some trash as usual, and instead Pete threw that shoe right into the motel room plate glass window. I'll bet Coach remembers that one. And then there was the bagel that Pete launched at someone in the dining hall that instead hit Joe, the short order cook. I never saw Pete run so fast as when Joe came out looking for who did it. But Pete kept working, and it all came together for him and for our team senior year 1995. We had a really good team, first team in Drew history to win 20 games, with a strong lineup but a thin bullpen, which meant that Pete and Steve Petroselli were basically expected to throw complete games just about every time out. So they did. That was the year Pete threw his no-hitter against Uppsala, the last no-hitter in Drew history, by the way. But that wasn't his best game. Kevin kind of stole my thunder on this one, but his best game was late in the year against Wilkes. Petro had already won the first game of the doubleheader, and then Pete was pitching the second game against a Wilkes pitcher named Krevin Grabowski, who ended up going to the major leagues and pitching for the Atlanta Braves. It was by far the most scouts that we ever played in front of. And Pete didn't just outpitch the future major leaguer by throwing a shutout, he also hit a 3-run homer off of that future major leaguer, which was one of the furthest balls I ever remember being hit at our home field. So that was a day. After we graduated, Pete, Joe Quinney, and I were supposed to travel around the country going to open tryouts for independent minor league teams. But right before we were supposed to leave, Pete got signed to a contract, sight unseen, with the Minot Mallards in North Dakota, of all places. And with that, Pete was a professional baseball player. It only lasted one summer, and it ended with Pete being traded for a bag of balls. Literally for equipment, which we teased him unmercifully about, of course. But at the same time, we all knew we would have traded places with him in a second. So Pete was both a great pitcher and a great teammate at Drew, but I just want to remember for a minute what he did after Drew. He became a varsity baseball coach that took his team to within 1 out of the Massachusetts State Championship. But he also became an incredible high school social studies teacher that would do things like make up songs to get his students excited about history. And he would always instill in every student his mantra to find your path, give back, and make good choices. Pete came a long way from that skinny kid our freshman year, and I know if he were here today, he would have been really happy and very honored. Thank you again for making this happen. And I just want to call up his father, Mr. Arthur, to receive his award on his behalf.
Thank you, Neil. Our next inductee is Kim Artim Berke from the class of 1999. Kim made her mark as an outstanding do-it-all performer for the Rangers softball team. She displayed her range of talents right from the start during her debut season, when she led the team in nearly every major category, both as a pitcher and as a hitter. She would go on to earn a spot on the All-MAC Freedom League team, an honor she would gain in each of her 4 seasons in the Forest. As a sophomore, Kim continued to shine while leading the Rangers to their first ever 20-win season. 1 year later, the team reached the 20-win plateau once again, while Kim posted perhaps her strongest all-around season as a Ranger. As a pitcher, she finished 16-7 with a 1.45 ERA and 78 strikeouts, and at the same time batted a robust .453 at the plate. That's amazing. Setting career highs in each category. As a senior, Kim put together yet another stellar season in all aspects of the game and was honored as Drew's first ever all-region recipient, capturing third-team recognition. Kim's achievements have stood to the test of time as her name remains dotted throughout the team's record book. She continues to hold Drew's record in a number of pitching categories, including career ERA shutouts and wins, and is still among the program's all-time leaders in a host of offensive categories as well. Her coach from her first 3 seasons at Drew, Dale Garlick, shared the following. Kim was our best pitcher, our best hitter, our best outfielder, our best overall player during her career. She even learned to play shortstop when we were shorthanded. There was a period of time where she would pitch the first game, take infield practice between games, and then play shortstop the second game, which was quite impressive. But despite all of her accomplishments, I'm even more proud of what she has done with her life after college. She is just a terrific wife and mother. I really can't say enough good things about Kim and the type of person she continues to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce Kim Artim Berke.
Thank you all for being here tonight, and to everyone at Drew University who made this night possible. I am so honored to be part of the Hall of Fame with so many incredible athletes. There are many people who helped to make my accomplishments possible. First, I was fortunate enough to have the best teammates behind me. For every pitch I threw, there was a team of fielders ready to catch whatever came their way. One special teammate and friend is here tonight. Heather, thank you so much for being here to support me. Next, I want to thank the person who helped coach me in softball and in life. My career at Drew would not have been the same without Coach Garlick. He was a mentor on and off the field, and he continues to be so even into adulthood. In fact, just before the ceremony, he couldn't make it here today, but he told me, now make sure you speak slowly so that people can hear you. So never stops giving tips. I spent many afternoons chatting with him or crying in his office throughout the years over whatever life challenges came my way. He became like a father to me, and I'm so grateful for his love, support, and guidance through all these years. Finally, my parents. I know right now they're looking down on me with so much pride and the biggest smile. So this achievement I actually share with them. They were my biggest supporters throughout my life, and only now as a parent can I really finally understand the sacrifices they made for me to achieve my dreams. They were at every game cheering me on, even if it meant hours of driving in the car. My dad spent countless hours practicing with me, taking me to the batting cage, and making sure I had everything I needed. While my parents will always be my biggest fans. I am forever grateful to the people here tonight who took over my cheering section, my husband Matt, my daughter Michelle, my son Matthew, and my family, Melanie, Kevin, and Lexi, and Haley, you too. You're not here though. I love you all so much, and thank you again for this honor, and it means the world to me.
Thank you, Kim. I just realized, I realized this earlier today, that the 5 individuals on the stage I actually had the honor of seeing compete at the college level. It's an honor for me, but I'm also really realizing how long I've been here and how old I am. But that's okay. It's an accomplishment. That's what we're gonna put that spin on it. So, but pretty neat. So I saw them in all their glory. Our next inductee is Danielle Barber McCann from the class of 2012. Danielle made her mark as one of the top all-around performers in team history, establishing herself at both the offensive and defensive end of the basketball court. Offensively, she scored over 1,300 points and came within 4 assists of the career school record. On defense, she racked up 239 steals, which ranks 4th all-time at Drew. She made an immediate impact as a freshman, then helped the Rangers to one of their top seasons in program history up to that point during her sophomore campaign. As Danielle handed out a school record 154 assists, the team finished with 15 wins and reached the semifinals of the ECAC championships. She continued to improve throughout her career, increasing her scoring average every season and dropped over 16 points per game as a senior. She earned 3 All-Landmark Conference honors and was the women's basketball team's first ever All-Met selection, earning the award twice. In her most memorable performance, she recorded what is to believe to be the only triple-double in team history when she posted 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, and a victory at Catholic in which she nailed a game-winning three-pointer at the buzzer for good measure. And we happen to have a clip of that moment for you to enjoy. Buckets. It is fun to see the evolution of basketball uniforms, for sure. Danielle continues to be ranked among Drew's all-time leaders in numerous categories and is 2nd in assists, 4th in steals, and 5th in points scored. Brittany Gaetano, Brooke's coach during her final 2 seasons at Drew, had the following to say: "Anyone who watched Danielle play could feel the amount of love and passion she brought to the game and to those who played it with her. As an athlete, her positive spirit, her competitive drive, and her relentless work ethic were contagious traits that made everyone around her better. When I think of Danielle, I immediately see her big smile, her bright eyes, and feel her positive energy. No matter the situation, be it getting shots up alone in the gym, stretching before practice with her teammates, or being in a film session with her coaches, Danielle was always locked in and ready to do whatever was needed for the team. The way she carried herself made everyone around her strive to be better. She always brought a sense of positivity, belief, and joy to anything she was doing. And I feel so lucky to have had the opportunity to coach her. Danielle wasn't an incredible player, but she is an even better teammate and person, and I am so happy for her to be receiving this much-deserved recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce Danielle Barber McCann.
Thank you. I want to preface this by apologizing if I cry at any point. I wanted to start this off by telling a quick, funny story. When I first got the text from Krista that I was going to be inducted, my first response was, "Is this spam?" To which Krista replied, "LOL, nope." I still didn't believe her until I actually spoke to her on the phone. I want to thank first the Hall of Fame committee for this honor. It's so gratifying to be back here at a place where I have so many special memories. I loved my time at Drew, and a lot of the people in this room are the reason why. Basketball, like many sports, as we know, is a team sport, and to see so many of my teammates here supporting me tonight, I just want to say to all of you, I'm not up here without you. You all made me the player I was, and for you guys to come back here and support me, you have no idea how much that means, and I will cherish it forever. And I spoke to some of the guys who we used to scrimmage against, our practice players. Michael Bowden, to be specific, told me, "You better give us credit for being your practice players." But I couldn't really figure out a place to fit that into the speech, so I just left it out. In all seriousness, I'm so proud to be a Drew Ranger, and I have an immense gratitude to be here tonight among all of these incredibly deserving Hall of Fame honorees. Being a basketball player at Drew is one of the best decisions I've ever made. Not to be overly dramatic, but it changed the course of my life and ultimately led me to my husband, Mike, who's here tonight, with whom I now share my two beautiful boys, Connor and Chase. Shout out to Mom for babysitting this weekend. And honestly, I'm not standing up here without my parents who made all of this possible for me. This was a short speech. Thank you again to everyone, and go Rangers.
All right, our next inductee tonight is Chad Bridges from the class of 2000. Chad excelled as a two-sport athlete in each of his 4 seasons at Drew, competing in both soccer and basketball. And it was on the soccer pitch where he made his greatest impact while helping to lead the Rangers to an outstanding 4-year run. Chad arrived at Drew as a soccer forward, and he found success at that position, scoring a career-high 8 goals during his sophomore season. However, when approached by head coach Lenny Armith about switching to outside back to maximize his time on the field, he was more than willing to oblige. He started every game at his new position over his final 2 years and helped to lead the Rangers to new heights. During his junior year, the team won the MAC title with a victory over nationally ranked Messiah in the conference final, earning an automatic berth in the NCAA Division III championships. 1 year later, the squad returned to the national tournament after gaining an at-large berth, and Chad captured a spot on the All-MAC team both seasons, earning first-team honors as a senior. He helped usher in perhaps the most successful era of Drew men's soccer, as his final 2 years kicked off a stretch in which the Rangers qualified for the NCAA tournament 7 years in a row. During the winter, Chad could be found in Baldwin Gym as a member of the men's basketball team. As a freshman, he was part of a squad that captured the ECAC Metro Region title, and he went on to compete in 62 games while also serving as team captain. And I'd be remiss to not note that Chad is now going to be the second member of the Drew Hall of Fame, who, in addition to his former teammate Joe Kaiser, who also played on one of our inaugural Drew JV basketball teams as freshmen when we recruited or begged them to play not necessarily their primary sport, and went on to great success there too. So I'm a basketball guy, Chad. I have to throw in and there's a lot of soccer stuff, but. So during his post-collegiate career, Chad has served as the boys soccer head coach of boys soccer at the Pennington School, where he's led the team to tremendous success, winning multiple county and state championships, as well as a national title in 2023. When reflecting on Chad, Coach Armith shared the following. Chad was a great athlete and a very good finisher. He was one of our biggest players and was dominant in the air, so we wanted him in the game for corner kicks and free kicks. Normally, forwards aren't interested in changing positions, but he was excited to play all 90 minutes without coming off the field. He was a team-first player and a great leader who impressed upon others the importance of working hard to get the most out of your talent. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce Chad Bridges as the newest member of our Hall of Fame.
That was a dominant JV basketball team, let me just tell you that. Also in the audience, Gagliano, who was a member of that team. Thanks for being here, buddy. It's an honor to be up here tonight accepting this induction. I'm especially grateful to share this moment with my wife, Erica, and our children, Drew, yes, Drew, and Sky. I want to thank the members of the Hall of Fame committee and congratulate all of this evening's inductees, especially my good friend Curtis, a fellow Ewing, New Jersey native. Of course, none of this would be possible without my coaches, some of who are here this evening, Coach Ralph, and my amazing teammates, both from my days on the soccer field and basketball court. I want to recognize and thank them for being the most incredible teammates and friends anyone could hope for. A lot of them here this evening. It means the world to me that you're here. To my mother, who is here tonight, and to my father, who is no longer with us, thank you for coming to every game, supporting me as I chase my dream of being a student athlete. To my brother, who pushed me from a young age through our never-ending silent competition, and who went on to have his own outstanding career at Rutgers as part of their football program, I say, checkmate. In one of my favorite books on leadership, teams, and culture, Legacy by James Kerr, and his study of the New Zealand All Blacks, he writes about the responsibility of leaving the jersey better than you found it. I'm proud that my time at Drew allowed me to leave a legacy that I hope made the jersey a little stronger for those who came after me. I'm equally proud of the legacy my teammates and I left together, and I hope that those who followed and future Drew student athletes will continue to carry that same sense of responsibility and pride. And finally, to the man without whom I wouldn't be standing here tonight, Lenny Armith. The reason I chose Drew was because of you. You believed in me as a soccer player. You turned an athlete into a soccer player, and then allowed that soccer player to grow into a leader. None of my success on or off the field would have been possible without you. I've been fortunate to win a lot of games and championships in my post-Drew days, and Lenny's fingerprints are on every one of them. And speaking of Lenny, there is one mistake I've waited 25 years to correct. When I accepted the inaugural Larry Horner Award for Student Athlete Leadership my senior year, I took a photo on stage but didn't call Lenny up. I was caught up in the moment, and I've regretted it ever since. So indulge me for a few minutes. Tonight I finally get my chance for a redo. So Lenny, will you please come up and accept this honor with me? Thank you, everyone. Go Rangers. You have to come up, Lenny. Oh, there you are. Where are you?
And Lenny, too, looks just like he did when he coached Chad, right? Thank you, Chad. Congratulations. Our next inductee is Curtis Fornarotto from the class of 2011. Curtis arrived at Drew in the fall of 2007, eager to prove himself as the Rangers were kicking off a new era in the inaugural season of the Landmark Conference. However, his plans were put on hold when he suffered a season-ending injury during the preseason. But he would bounce back and turn in an outstanding career that culminated with his selection as an All-American. After recovering from his injury, it didn't take long for Curtis to make an impact as a starting defender. In 2008, he helped the Rangers go undefeated in regular season conference play while capturing an at-large berth in the NCAA championships. The Rangers continued to flourish over the next 3 years, with Curtis anchoring the team's stingy back row that frequently finished among the nation's best in goals against average, The squad reached the landmark conference championships every year that Curtis was on the team, and the Rangers captured an ECAC title during his second year in 2009. With the team winning over 70% of its matches over his career, Curtis was recognized for his stellar play with 3 All-Landmark Conference awards, including first-team recognition over his last 2 years. He was granted an NCAA medical hardship waiver to play a 5th year at Drew, and he made his final season count. He earned first-team All-Region honors, then became the 7th All-American in program history, capturing second-team recognition. In addition to his time on the pitch, Curtis spent 1 season on the men's lacrosse team at Drew, competing as a defensive midfielder in 2009 and helping the squad to an ECAC playoff berth. Lenny Armith, his head coach in soccer, shared his thoughts on Curtis. He was a steady influence for us in the back. He took control of the game and was a real leader, almost like a coach on the field. He didn't demand attention, but just did his job. He led by example and earned the respect of his teammates. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Curtis Fornarotto.
They just felt bad. It was my 5th year. They're like, give the old man something. Good evening. I want to first congratulate my fellow inductees, especially Chad, as well as thank the Hall of Fame committee and Drew University for this honor. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little surprised that they found some good pictures of me. I was never photogenic playing soccer. I either looked like I was passing a kidney stone, my knees were in. There's one at least. But in all seriousness, I'm beyond honored and humbled and don't even feel I deserve this. The guys I played with deserve this honor. Without them, I'm not standing up here tonight. Guys like Dante LaPenta, Greg Zizik, Joe Mitchell, Matt Greenberg, Brendan Michael, who's now the women's coach here, Adrian Kawuba, fellow Hall of Famer Dan Bonder, John Jabbar, Matt Gragnano, RJ Vorman, Mike Bizzuti, and so many others. I could just keep going. But just as important, the guys who maybe didn't get as much playing time, the underclassmen, I wanted to be better every day and be a great leader and mentor for them. Every single guy on the team I played with is the reason I am standing up here tonight, hands down. I was fortunate enough to play for some amazing coaches growing up, like Bruce Angebrandt, who we unfortunately lost recently, Kevin Deal, Mike Casper, who's the head coach at Columbia now, Mr. Gentz, and many others. And I wouldn't have made it to Drew without them mentoring me and challenging me. But I have to thank Lenny for taking a chance, recruiting me, and believing in me. I echo everything Chad said. I can't thank you enough. You and your staff, coaches like Cesar Barrientos, Paul Johnson, Tyler Masterson, Eric Studnicki, all had an everlasting impact on me, and I can't thank you enough. Even Krista Racine, who was the women's coach during my time at Drew, you were and are an amazing mentor and friend, and I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me over the years. All of the coaches and staff always had words of wisdom, were cheering us on, and Drew Athletics really felt like a family, and I think that's very unique here. Full disclosure, I was hurt a lot every year, and I mean a lot. Chris Ryan is here, he can attest to that, and that's how I met him. I can't properly describe how much of an impact he's had on my life, especially while I was at Drew. I worked in the athletic training room at Drew, and I loved every second of it. For those that don't know, I hold a Drew Athletics record. Chris Ryan was nice enough to tell me, and to this day remind me, that I came in as the only athlete with a concave chest. He's right. I had no muscle. I had nothing. And I could just hear him, "You're better than that kid," and he'd give me a little, you know? I'm happy to report I no longer have a concave chest, nor stomach. Chris, I can't thank you enough for all the life lessons that you've taught me. You are truly one of my heroes, and if I can become half the man you are, or at least half as fit as you are, I'll be just fine. Finally, I want to thank my family and friends. They've sacrificed and spent a lot of time traveling for tryouts, practices, games, tournaments, up and down the East Coast, and I'm grateful for that. To my wife, Nicole, and my children, Lucy, Annie, and Tommy, your love is unparalleled, and you will forever be my greatest accomplishment. We joke that Nicole's an honorary Ranger Bear because she started a group text. It says, "Go Bears." It's the running joke. I think it's up in our house somewhere, but I love it. Every day, I tell my kids, especially Lucy, since she's the oldest, to have a good day, be a good listener, be respectful, help others, do the right thing, and do your best. Lucy, I've tried to live my life by those values. When I played here, I tried to be better every day, a better player, a better student, a better leader, and a better person. And I still try to do the same to this day. I'm truly honored, humbled, and forever grateful to be associated with such great athletes, Drew Athletics, and Drew University as a whole. This campus has held and will always hold a special place in my heart. Thank you very much.
And Chris Ryan does talk like that, actually. That was very good. Our final inductee is Brooke Gagliano from the class of 2014. Brooke made her mark as an outstanding multi-sport athlete at Drew. She competed primarily in field hockey and lacrosse, but also competed for the softball team one season. Brooke found the most success in field hockey, establishing herself as an All-American following a stellar career. A 4-year starter in the midfield, she helped the Rangers win 55 games while qualifying for the Landmark Conference Championship each season and the ECAC tournament 3 times. She had a breakthrough season during her junior campaign when she piled up 19 goals and 7 assists and was honored as the Landmark Conference Offensive Player of the Year. She closed out her career in style as a senior, racking up 17 goals and 12 assists, and was recognized as the Landmark Conference Player of the Year. Leading the team to a 16-4 record, she also earned all-region honors for the 2nd year in a row and captured second-team All-America honors. She continues to be ranked among Drew's all-time leaders in all 3 major categories and is 5th in points, tied for 5th in goals, and 8th in assists. During her first year at Drew, Brooke competed for the Rangers softball team as a starting second baseman and outfielder. She led the team in runs scored and also broke the school record for runs in a game with 5. Because it's Brooke, as a sophomore, she took up a new sport. Why not? Playing lacrosse for the first time, and through hard work and determination became one of the squad's top performers. As a starting midfielder, she helped the Rangers reach the Landmark Conference Championship in each of her 3 seasons and was recognized with a spot on the All-Landmark Conference team following her senior year. Kim Christos coached Brooke during her first season on the lacrosse field and had the following to say: "I've been fortunate to coach many great athletes, but Brooke was truly special. She was recruited to Drew for other sports, but decided to give lacrosse a try. And from day one, it was clear she was a natural. She was fast, tough, and fearless, but what stood out most was her drive to learn a new sport and her determination to make an impact. Brooke wasn't just a competitor, she was a leader who lifted everyone around her. Her energy, work ethic, and love for the game were contagious." This Hall of Fame honor is so well-deserved, and I'm incredibly proud of her. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Brooke Gagliano.
Yeah, I was thinking back to my first year for lacrosse when you were saying that, and it was definitely an experience. There's some college teammates here, but yeah, no, it was definitely crazy when I switched over. But thank you guys. I really am so grateful to be standing here, and I lost my voice, so I apologize if it goes in and out. I'm so incredibly honored to be inducted into the Drew University Hall of Fame and to be recognized among so many amazing athletes. It's an incredible feeling to stand here and look back on some of the best years of my life. Being a Drew Ranger has shaped who I am. It gave me friendships and memories that I will forever be grateful for. It taught me that hard work, teamwork, and determination, lessons that I carry with me every day. I've always tried to bring a sense of focus and purpose into everything I do. In college, my goal wasn't just to be the best, but to help my teammates be the best together. That mindset, working hard, showing up, and lifting up the people around me is something that I've carried with me ever since. It shaped how I approach life, work, and everything I care about today. I want to start by thanking my family. They never missed a game, no matter how far it was. There was no better feeling than looking at the sidelines during the game and seeing your family there, cheering you on, and I was so lucky and grateful for that. From the time I was little, my parents have always been there, taking me to every practice, every game, traveling absolutely anywhere, just so that I can play the sports that I loved. My little sister, Gianna, everyone probably sees her now, and they don't recognize her because she was this tiny, but she was the little kid during my college years. She's my number one fan. She would be on the sidelines with the black paint under her eyes. She had her pigtails in, and she was just screaming louder than ever. I remember that picture of you. And that always meant the world to me. And my grandma, I'm forever grateful for her. She would always travel with my parents to all the games, even in the freezing cold. And my grandpa never had the opportunity to watch my high school and college sports career, but he was a huge part in shaping me into the athlete that I became. I also want to thank everyone that has come into my life since my Drew days. To my in-laws, my friends, my family, who have become part of my life since then, thank you for always being there for me and supporting everything I do. And most importantly, my wife. You've seen the athlete in me through every chapter since college. Your love and support pushes me to keep growing and to be the best version of myself, and I am forever grateful to have you by my side. To my coaches and teammates, thank you for shaping me into the athlete I became. Playing 3 sports at Drew, field hockey every fall, softball freshman year, and lacrosse from sophomore to senior, gave me lifelong memories and friendships that I will forever be grateful for. The bond and experiences that we've all shared on and off the field is something I will forever cherish. Sports have prepared me for everything in life, for the challenges, the changes, and the moments of growth. I'm so proud to have worn Drew across my chest and to stand here today amongst so many talented athletes who've done the same. Thank you again for this incredible honor, and congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Brooke. Congratulations again. The next part of our program is to recognize a team of distinction. The 1985 Drew Field Hockey team is celebrating the 40th anniversary of reaching the Final Four. And they're still 18 years old. I don't know how this happened. So this team reached the Final Four of the NCAA Division III tournament. Led by head coach Maureen Haram-Pease, the Rangers got hot at the right time, winning 6 of their last 7 games of the regular season while posting a 4-0 mark in the MAC Northeast League play. The squad went on to capture the MAC title with victories over Gettysburg, Messiah, and Franklin and Marshall to earn an automatic berth in the NCAA tournament. The Rangers headed to Ithaca, warm Ithaca, New York, for the opening rounds, where they knocked off Ithaca and Worcester to land a spot in the Final Four, which Drew was selected to host. The Rangers took on Millersville in the semifinals, but despite putting up a valiant effort, were edged 1-0, and their season came to a close with a loss to Bloomsburg in the 3rd-place game. However, the Rangers closed out the year with a tremendous 18-6-1 record while posting one of the most unforgettable seasons in the history of Drew athletics. Joining us here tonight are team members Benny Beneducci, Tina Tadero Reynolds, Jamie Tome Pagliocco, Mary Ellen Vieira Weaver, Kim Wynot Boyle, Lori Quinn Moylan, Peggy Savilli Phillips, and Ann Gunster Finnan. I would like to invite you to the stage to receive a small gift to commemorate your incredible season. You can look at Chris over there. Thank you. Let's give him another round of applause. One of the things that I love most about my job is watching our student athletes compete. And what our recipients this evening shared with you is exactly why we do what we do and why they make what we do the best job in the world. So thank you again for sharing your thoughts and memories about your experience at Drew, why this is such a special place for our student athletes that are in the audience. This is what it's about, so I'm glad that you were able to hear what these stellar athletes had to say about their time in the forest. This concludes our program. I'd like to invite all of you back to Mead Hall for some refreshments and to continue to celebrate this evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and have a wonderful weekend. We'd like all recipients to stay for a couple extra minutes to get some pictures, please. Thank you. And Mr. Arthur, if you can come back up and kneel. If you guys can come back up. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see you in the morning.